Was a notorious convicted drug trafficker who once killed a fellow prisoner. His name was known to every drug squad in Britain. The jury heard all that from his own lawyer. There was even a book about him, he said, and he'd featured on the Sunday Times rich list.
Kids 1, Godfathers, Part 1.
Massive quantities of drugs.
Biggest ever drug importation.
Corruption is inevitable.
Here, number one target.
Shoot you in the head. And there he is.
This is the story of Curtis "Cocky" Warren and the corrupt Jersey police. Toxteth-born career criminal Curtis "Cocky" Warren built one of the world's biggest drug rings and kicked a Turkish killer to death while inside for smuggling. The drugs baron, now aged 58, is currently bidding for his freedom. Warren's longtime barrister Anthony Barraclough said, Netflix wanted to make a blockbuster but he knocked it back, saying he only wants to speak out about what he sees as corruption from Jersey cops.
This is Holland's most secure jail. Inside is a special unit holding some of Europe's top criminals. Among them is one of Britain's wealthiest godfathers, Curtis Warren. Once dismissed as just another scally in a shell suit, he became Customs' #1 target, responsible for some of the biggest ever drug importations into Britain. With direct links in all the major drug supply countries, he built a personal fortune estimated at £150 million, plenty to buy even police officers. But Curtis Warren liked to talk, and investigators liked to listen, so tonight we go one-to-one with Curtis Warren and his friends and reveal the incriminating phone conversations that a British jury was not allowed to hear.
Warren left school with no qualifications but built a criminal empire so vast he was alleged to be earning up to £20 million a week. After a 5-year stretch for armed robbery, the former bouncer teamed up with a Colombian to import cocaine into the UK. He was arrested in 1992 but the trial collapsed and he walked free, earning him the nickname Teflon Gangster. As he left court, the crook is said to have sneered at customs officers, "I'm off to spend my money." He moved to the Netherlands but Dutch police tapped his phones and he was jailed for 12 years in 1997 for importing cocaine and cannabis worth £125 million into Britain.
He thought he was untouchable, even to the point of bribing a senior police officer to get criminal charges dropped against his friend.
This pod's in charge of the case, yeah?
Yeah.
So what I've said to him, I'll give him a couple of grand this morning, right?
Yeah.
I've said that he gets bail tomorrow, I'll give you another 8, right?
Yeah.
And when all the charges are dropped, I'll give you another 10, and he's agreed with that.
Warren views justice like drugs, a quick fix to be purchased at the right price. This is the story of the boy from the back streets of Liverpool who made it to the Sunday Times rich list, and how the Dutch police tapped his phones to prove he was the chief executive of a multinational drugs empire. Streets of Liverpool and everybody else couldn't survive. Warren was now targeted by British customs and police as they discovered he was dealing directly with the Colombian drug barons. He was photographed at Heathrow with Middlesbrough businessman Brian Charrington, returning from a meeting with the notorious Cali cartel in South America. In September 1991, shortly after their visit, a container ship left Caracas in Venezuela, bound for the port of Felixstowe. On board, 28 tons of lead ingots. Hidden inside them, aluminium boxes containing cocaine. Customs, acting on a tip-off, were waiting to inspect the cargo, but the search was negative. Impervious to X-rays, The ingots were so big that anyone who did not know exactly where to drill had little prospect of finding the cocaine. So 1.5 tons of the drug, with a street value of £250 million, were imported into Britain. Yet again, Warren had escaped detection.
It became clear that Curtis Warren had got contacts all over the globe. He had reliable contacts in South America. He had contacts in Holland, contacts in Turkey, all of which are good source countries for supplying narcotics.
Curtis Warren's reputation as Britain's most notorious drug trafficker is now established beyond doubt. He's about to begin his second long jail sentence. He was caught just 3 weeks after finishing the first. Throughout his trial, massive security surrounded his daily arrival and departure from court. It was never revealed if the guns were to stop him escaping or protect him from old rivals. The plan was to smuggle cannabis into Jersey, £1 million worth, but Warren boasted that it was just a little starter. This was the plot. Warren's contacts in Amsterdam were to supply the drugs. The gang would drive them through Belgium and France to the Normandy coast, then a speedboat would bring them to Jersey. This secluded cove on the east of the island was to be the landing spot. Cannabis sells for a high price on Jersey's streets. Your streets, the jurors were told. Warren, who's from Liverpool, was the mastermind, the man with the clout and influence, said the prosecution.
Well, he's a prolific criminal, and this was just the start of what we thought was going to be another build-up to more significant trafficking in the past. £1 million worth is a lot of money, which you can then invest in other forms of drugs, buying drugs and supplying drugs.
The plot emerged when Jersey police bugged the phone boxes Warren used to call his drug contacts in Holland. They put a listening device in the VW Golf he used to cruise the island for hours. The police illegally bugged a red Citroën the gang hired on the continent. The French had refused permission for the bug. Warren's defence was simple. The police had fitted him up. Because of who he was, they were out to get him at any cost. He said they used a Dutch informant to lure him into conversations that were misinterpreted. To back his argument, defence lawyer Stephen Baker revealed Warren's past. 16 years ago in Newcastle, he was acquitted in the lead ingot case. Massive amounts of cocaine were hidden in metal blocks. 4 years later, he was convicted of a similar plot in Holland. This time, the drugs hidden in concrete blocks. In a fight at a Dutch jail, Warren killed a fellow prisoner. He was the subject of a best-selling book. The Sunday Times Rich List acknowledged Warren's fortune, though it attributed it to property deals.
One of the UK's most notorious criminals, Curtis Warren is serving a jail sentence for attempting to smuggle cannabis into Jersey. He was sentenced to 13 years over the £1 million conspiracy, though Interpol's former most wanted has always maintained he is the victim of a miscarriage of justice. The 56-year-old has since been handed an extra 10 years after failing to pay back a £198 million fortune investigators believe he made from global dealing.
He was Interpol's most wanted man, and as he arrived on island turf in June 2007, Jersey police made it their mission to catch him.
His barrister, Stephen Baker, said the authorities were desperate to get Warren, and Jersey police, he said, must have been very excited when he turned up on the island.
But the recordings were illegal. Jersey police didn't have permission by France, Belgium or Holland to bug the car. They even told the officer who fitted the device to lie to the French police about what she was doing.
A moral dilemma the Privy Council now face. Either let Curtis Warren and associates walk free or agree with Sir Richard Tucker that it's okay to allow illegally obtained evidence to stand in court.
The legal team argued this devilry and misconduct amounted to an abuse of process and that all convictions should be quashed. Today, the law lords didn't agree, but they did issue a damning verdict on the actions of Jersey police.
The board emphasises its strong disapproval of the police misconduct in this case. They were guilty of sustained and deliberate law-breaking. The outcome of this appeal should not be seen to condone their conduct. Repetition of misconduct of this kind in the future might well lead to a different outcome.
But whatever verdict the Privy Council come back with regarding Curtis and his associates, irreparable damage has been done to Jersey's police force.
The illegal tactics in gathering evidence against Warren will now be investigated by Hampshire Police, and that could result in disciplinary action.
The states of Jersey police are one of the most corrupt police forces anywhere in the world. The way Jersey police set Curtis Warren up and broke laws to obtain evidence for his convictions strikes of a force corrupt to the core. We all remember the Odella Garin scandal with Jimmy Savile and government officials of Jersey abusing and molesting young children and the big cover-up that happened afterwards.